killer of old people and Democratic governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is turning out to be one of the allegedly sleaziest politicians in decades, and the list of women coming forward alleging sexual misconduct against him just keeps piling up. On Saturday, two more women.
Bill Clinton's like, whoa.
Yeah, I know.
The heat is off, finally.
That's impressive.
Let Cuomo deal with it for once.
On Saturday, two more women came forward to join Lindsey Boylan and Charlotte Bennett. Former press aide Karen Hinton, on the right there in that picture, says that back in 2000 in a Los Angeles hotel room lit for sex, Cuomo gave her what she said was a hug that was very long, too tight, too intimate. That's the big allegation that came out Saturday, is a long, aggressive hug.
That's a lot of twos.
So he was trying to get comfortable in the hotel room.
Yeah, I mean, he was alone in a hotel room with this woman for whatever reason, and he went for it with a hug and got to test the waters.
Maybe he was trying to make sure she was real.
Right. Yeah.
You go on a business trip with a guy with nipple rings, and this is not surprising.
No.
Well, because you find out when he goes through the metal detector. But real quick, do you guys think that? Do you think that this is happening because of the nursing home scandal? Like, I'm not saying I don't believe these women. I do.
You think because he has done such a shitty job as governor, people just want his head, and so anytime he's been sexually aggressive, they're just pointing it out.
Yeah, I think potentially that because the nursing home shit's so bad, people are like, I need to distance myself from this motherfucker.
When people despise you, when people despise you, generally they are going to air your dirty laundry if you're sexually aggressive.
So, a lot of politicians on both sides, I made fun of Clinton, Trump as well with the allegations. I think, Pat, what happened is like when one person comes forward and seems credible, that takes a lot of pressure off the others to come forward.
Course,
exactly. Yeah. So maybe a combination of he's got some negative press for all of his mistakes, but I think most importantly, it's when the first aide came forward.
Literally the hashtag Me Too is based around that.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, that's what happens. Strength in numbers, and they all of them should. I mean, everyone should be heard, right? Hinton, who is married to Howard Glazer, who was Cuomo's director of state operations and senior policy advisor until 2014. So he was going after, one of his guys, wife, says that she pulled away, but then, quote, he pulls me back for another intimate embrace. I thought at that moment it could lead to a kiss. It could lead to other things. So I just pulled away again and I leave. So that's that story. And the second accuser,
the second pull-in,
pulled her back for a second.
The second pull-in is pretty incriminating.
That's pretty creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Come on, we're dancing here, right?
Have you guys ever done a second pull-in on a chick?
To a coworker? Nah.
I want to make sure that the hug really.
I'm sure I've done a third pull-in.
Yeah, you've done multiple pull-ins to like some. Yeah, it's usually with somebody you're with, not somebody who's married to somebody else on your staff.
You gotta be pretty comfortable. I'm saying, like, if it's a girl that you haven't kissed yet or hooked up with, and you want to, and if you go for the second pull-in, I mean,
like lots of guys have made a mistake and done a second or third pull-in while drunk. They shouldn't have. At a work function, absolutely not.
Yeah. Of course. So the second lady, Ann Liss, on the left in that photo, says that when she worked for Cuomo as a policy operations aide from 2013 to 15, he treated her like it was the 60s. He called her sweetheart, asked her if she had a boyfriend. One time in 2014 at his mansion, she said that he greeted her with, "Hey, sweetheart," kissed both of her cheeks, and then pulled her in by her waist for a picture. Now, Rich Azzopardi, who is the senior advisor to Cuomo, responded to that, saying, quote, "Reporters and photographers have covered the governor for 14 years, watching him kiss men and women and posing for pictures." Okay, Rich. So that was his thing. Like, this is normal. He goes to a lot of press.
He does it to dudes too.
He's Italian, he's grabbing and smooching with everybody. Yeah.
He's a friendly guy.
I can't think of any female relationship I've ever had other than with my niece, where I refer to a female as a sweetheart. Like, who does that? Like, "Hey, sweetheart, come here."
A guy
sweetheart.
who's old. He's from a different era. He's from the Billy Clinton era. He's not
older guys that go to diners. Like and call their waitresses sweetheart and tip like $1.
You ever see like my parents, some of their friends, like my dad will kiss some of their friends like on the lips. Like it's fucking weird. Like I don't know what it is.
70s, baby.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like
culturally.
What are you doing?
We've all done each other.
Yeah, your dad's orgy.
They got the
That's
key
a different
bowl.
situation.
What's going on here? Also, in less, not making as much news is this woman Ann Rutch, a former Biden campaign staffer, that says Cuomo kissed her on the cheek at a wedding, which left her quote confused and shocked and embarrassed. But
shut the fuck up, Ann Rutch. Though I'm sorry, a kiss on the cheek at a wedding, Ann Rutch. You're just trying to jump in here. You're trying to get in the double Dutch line.
Yeah, I mean,
It's people piling on though. It's like I think it's like you, Pat, and Mark said. It was like,
honey, should I get involved? Remember when he kissed me on the cheek at a wedding?
Right.
Should I?
Do you remember how uncomfortable that made me feel?
Yes.
well,
should I jump in?
So many people in his office have clearly thought he's a creep over the years, and now they're just all together like, oh, let's bust this creep.
Well, all these people that have been like, underneath his thumb, working for him, prepping him up. They've seen him do the kielbasa thing for 14 years, where he's like, "I bet you could eat that in one bite, couldn't you, sweetheart?
You could swallow that whole sausage for sure."
He's been doing
That's
that
creepy as fuck.
all the time for 14 years. Like his normal talk is like overtly sexual and like just disgusting.
He's taking the staff out to the kielbasa store.
This is kind of like a rite of passage. We go to the kielbasa store your first week.
Special treat for the staff. I like to take them to the sausage.
I got a
factory.
sausage guy. He's the best.
I gotta see if you can do it.
And when
Turn on the camera. She's gonna love this.
You jump to the front of the line. But perhaps the woman that is causing him the most grief right now is Andrea Stewart Cousins, the leader of the New York State Senate, who is calling for his head and for him to resign immediately. Quote, "For the good of the state," she added, "every day there is another account that is drawing away from the business of government. We need to govern without daily distraction. Governor Cuomo must resign." But guys, guess what? Cuomo's not going to resign.
He doesn't want to resign, does he? Yeah.
No
He
way.
ain't going to resign.
He hasn't done anything wrong in his
No
mind.
way.
He's just, telling these women to suck the kielbasa and he's kissing them on the cheeks
Right.
and stuff.
If he resigns, that's an admission of guilt in a way, right? So
No chance he's resigning. Yeah.
Cuomo had like a conference, phone conference with. By the way, Cuomo. With the reporters on the phone, he said that he was elected by the people, not politicians. A recent Quinnipiac University poll found that 59% of registered New York voters want him to stay. That was released Thursday, though, so maybe it's changed a little bit with the new
That's a lot.
allegations.
That's a high percentage.
Yeah. So Cuomo
Well, it's
said
similar to California, where people like Newsom's going to get the vote to go throw him out, but he won't get thrown out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Newsom isn't sexually assaulting half the state.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
A little different, yeah.
It is. It is worse
dinner.
because he's being a sexually aggressive boss. But I mean, I don't know. Newsom fucked up his entire year of being
but it's
governor.
not comparable. The
Right.
situations they both have done wrong things or whatever, but not comparable. I'm surprised 59% of people support a guy who sexually harasses a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah. It's just I don't know, Dem voters, I guess. I'm not gonna. Speaking to the Times, Cuomo said, "This is from the Times, actually. I'm not going to resign because of allegations, calling the notion anti-democratic and a violation of the due process clause of the Constitution. There's no way I resign." So he's got 5 women. One he aggressively kissed and shoves his tongue down her throat. Right. That was the first one, Boylan. So that one, that's
Strip
like
poker.
that's pretty. Yeah, strip poker. That one was pretty damning. The rest are what I can, aggressive hugs and inappropriate questioning of
This
you
is
have a
at the cheeks
boyfriend.
at a wedding.
He's
Kisses
like
the cheeks at the wedding.
he's like Al Franken when he did with the boob picture like 10 times a week. He's like a super Al Franken, and Al Franken's probably pissed that he's
Al
probably
Franken
pissed
was
at
probably doing a bit though. That's the difference. Al Franken was like, "Hey,
The
check
grab
it
her
out,
tits,
right?"
it was a bit, yeah, but
No, he was doing a bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
didn't
grab your
tits.
tits real
But
quick.
Cuomo does
He
that
didn't
bit.
touch her tits.
Cuomo does that bit like I'm telling you, like all the fucking time. Like
Yeah. He puts a lot of feelers out there, Cuomo does.
yeah.
Cuomo and Franken need to do a duo act. They need to start a stand-up routine.
There's a difference between
Buddy
a bit.
comedy. Louis
Like
C.K. could get on that
Abbott and
too.
Costello.
They're just triple teaming the audience.
Yeah. They're just making women uncomfortable. All right, who's next? Who's the next
Who can we
volunteer?
jack off?
How about
in
you?
front of them?
Those poor women that he like hugged and then like they like just like friendly put their head on his shoulder, or just like they had no idea what they did. Cuomo, the last thing is Cuomo said that the most recent accusation by Hinton is not true and that she's a longtime political adversary. Hinton responded by saying truth is the longtime adversary that Cuomo fears the most. So we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens.